Today I'm going to show you guys how to make your own RTA or spectrum analyzer using a DirectBox, an Amazon tablet, and a few cables.
True Sound Studios is in your ears.
Hey guys, what is up? I'm Weezna, and as always, we're here at my studio, True Sound Studios, and today I get to show you what I think is a really great and easy way to make your own RTA, which is also known as a real-time analyzer, or a spectrum analyzer, using something as simple as an Amazon tablet and a few free apps. I will include everything that you're going to need to make this in the description of this video, so go ahead and check that out if you guys have any other questions, or even very specifically what I used in this video to make your own RTA. Okay guys, so let's get into this video. Okay guys, so let's just first go over what you're going to need to make this whole thing work. So obviously you will need the Amazon Fire, and this particular one is the 5th generation Amazon Fire. So to be able to hook a signal of your choice, so whether it be, a line output from your headphone or maybe an aux channel send from your mixer, we need to somehow get the audio to register by using the jack and not the microphone that is built into this Amazon Fire. So if you watch right now, if I tap on the table, you'll see it's only detecting the audio through the microphone. Now, obviously you could do that, but it's going to be picking up the noise in the room, and depending on where it is, it's not really going to have a great idea of what the actual sound is coming from whatever particular source it might be. So to do that, we need all these cables and these direct boxes. So you're going to need a direct box. Now this is a 2-channel direct box because I actually bought 2 of these Amazon Fires. So if you only want one Amazon Fire, you only need a single channel direct box. So what this direct box allows us to do is plug in our line signal on this side, and then it'll transform it using a transformer and change the impedance, and even we can even alternate the signal or reduce the amount of signal, and it'll come out through this balanced jack over here, which is where we can obviously in the end plug it into our tablet. So to do this, we're going to need 2 of these adapters. Now this is XLR to RCA. That's what I chose to do so that you can very simply just plug it in the back here. And then this cable would plug into there, and then this would plug into the tablet. So once again, if you do want to have 2 different monitors because they are so inexpensive, you're going to need 2 XLR to RCA adapters, or you can just get an adapter cable. I chose to go with these adapters. And then you're going to need this cable. Now this comes in a whole bunch of different sizes and whatever, but this is a TRRS 3.5 millimeter jack to 3 RCA cables. So what this is going to allow us to do is 2 of them are for audio out, and the last one, the yellow one, on most cables, now they are a little different, I'll show you some variations. The yellow one we're going to use as the microphone signal cable. So the yellow one will hook up to our adapter, plug into our direct box, and then our signal, like I had said before, whether it be a headphone output from your interface or whatever it might be, will plug into here. And what has taken me so long to actually make this work is when you hook this all up without this, the system actually does not work. It doesn't detect the microphone input from the cable. So what you're going to need is a 2K variable resistor, or it's also known as a potentiometer. This is what is going to give us the impedance load that we're going to need for the Amazon Fire to detect what is a microphone signal but is actually being changed from our direct box. So without this whole thing doesn't work. This is really important, and I'm going to show you guys how to hook this up and make this whole thing work. And then last, obviously you're going to need some apps. Now, whatever apps you decide to use is up to you. I will include the 2 apps that I downloaded. So this one in particular is the SpectralView, and this other one is called RTA Analyzer. So both of them are really great. Two different uses, two different functionalities. So that's why I bought two Amazon Fires. I can have one running the RTA and one running the Spectral Analyzer. Okay, so really quick about the apps. Now, when you buy the Amazon Fire tablet, it only comes preloaded with the ability to download apps from the Amazon store. Now, both of those apps that I just showed you are actually from the Google Play Store. Unfortunately, it's not as easy as just downloading the Google Play Store app and then, installing apps that you want from the Google Play Store. There's actually a little bit of a process to do this. It takes like no more than 5 minutes, and it really opens up the options that you have to download these apps. So I included a link in the description of this video, and it's somebody else's video, and they show you really simply how to go ahead and install the Google Play Store. I promise it's really very easy, it's very basic, and it's really, really worth it because it opens up just so many more apps that are really useful. Okay, so let's get into hooking this up. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this direct box, and I'm going to plug in these XLR to RCA adapters into the XLR jacks that are on the direct box, which is also the output of the direct box. Once again, over here is where I'm going to be plugging in our line signal. If I take this cable, now I know this is not the cable I showed you guys in the beginning of it, and that's because I've already modified this cable, so I just want to stick with this one because it's already been cut. And I just haven't had a chance to install this into my actual mixing console, which is where these two screens are going to go. So all this is the same thing. This is just the TRRS cable, same thing, right angle. It's just these are actually male connectors while the other one was female. It's the same thing. We don't have to worry about it. It doesn't change anything. But what you're going to have to do is, and I told you there's some variations to this, and that's because some of these cables are kind of hooked up a little differently. So if I take my tester out here, and this is just a continuity tester, it just tests if there is a straight signal through whatever it is. On a typical TRS, this is the left speaker output. This is the right speaker output. This is ground, and then this is the microphone connection. Now, depending on what standard they're wired to, these last two ones can often be flipped, which is why you're going to need to check which cable you have, because between the first cable that I showed you and this cable, they're actually, one is wired one way and the other is wired the other way. So if we check, if this is supposed to be ground, if we just touch the sleeve on our RCAs, we can check to see which one is ground. So as you can see, that one is supposed to be the microphone. So if this is our actual ground, we have a signal flowing through that. So that's good. And then this will be our microphone connection, which should be the yellow one. Nope. See, that's why we check. So it's actually the red one. So the red cable is actually our mic connection. I'm assuming this will be the left. If we go to here. Yep, and then this is the right one. So they're kind of a little backwards. So on this particular cable, this is correct, at least with the positive and negative, the polarity on here. But it is backwards compared to the colors. So we will be using the red one on this particular longer cable. And just let me show you the original cable here. If we check this, this is supposed to be ground. And as you can see, it is not. The mic connection is actually our ground. So this one, the polarity is actually backwards. And let's see if the yellow. So in this case, the mic signal is the yellow cable, and the ground and the positive for the microphone are backwards. So, that is going to change things. So just make sure you use a continuity checker, tester, whatever you want to call it. You can also use a multimeter that has that, but you are going to have to check your cable. So let's bring back the original cable that we got here. Knowing that on this other cable, this different cable, we are going to use the red RCA cable. And so what I did was, so I simply took this cable. If I just pull it apart, I cut it, I stripped the ends, so we have the ground, which is the unshielded one, and all I simply did was twist together the common wires again as if nothing happened. And that's because we need to insert our potentiometer on here. So we're going to leave the positive alone, and that's the one that is not bare. So these two bare wires, okay, so these do not have any sheathing over them. What we're going to do is we're going to separate these because we need to insert our potentiometer onto this ground here. So in between this connection, what we can do is take our potentiometer, and I just soldered some cable, some wire onto here just to make it a little easier for this video. So with the wiring of this potentiometer, all you need to do is put one wire in the middle and solder that on, and one wire on either end. So you can either choose this one or this one. Obviously I soldered the other wire here. And it doesn't matter of polarity, that doesn't change anything. As long as you have one wire in the middle and then the other wire on either end, that is all the wiring that is needed to wire up this potentiometer. And so all I'm going to do is just take one of them and I'm going to connect it to one side. And obviously, you know, to do this better, you really should go back and solder all these. Obviously right now, I'm not going to. So there we go. It's not the prettiest thing right now. And like I said, please solder them or at least tape them at the very least. Fortunately, this is some very, very low voltage thing, so it's not too big of a deal to do it like this. So that is really it. That is all of the wiring. So I'm just going to go ahead and just clean this up real quick. So now that I've cleaned this up, I'm going to take this TRRS cable and I'm going to plug it into the side of the tablet. Okay, so you can see it still hasn't bypassed it. That's because we need to play around with this potentiometer a little bit. So it's still detecting my voice, which is not what we want. And then the other end of the cable where we spliced it all together, we're going to connect it to one of the channels on the direct box. So as you notice right away, we've added enough a load as far as resistance go, and you can see it bypassed the microphone. Now that's some like self noise that's going on in there, and I'm assuming that has to do with the fact that I have these open connections and this potentiometer just kind of sitting out here. So I'm hoping I can clean this up. Okay, so now it is really time to just go ahead and play some music. So I'm just going to grab my iPhone here. Looks like I got some text messages in the meantime. So what I'm going to do is run a second cable that is going to plug into this other channel, just so you guys can hear, you know, that some signals going through here, and I'm not just BSing this whole video. So I'm going to turn on this little Bluetooth speaker, and then I'm going to plug into the inputs on the direct box. It's 2 1/4-inch cables to a stereo 3.5, just TRS. And that's just going to go simply into my phone. And all I'm doing right now is just creating some audio for you guys to listen to. And you can see right away, so the music's playing, it's just being split. And one channel is coming over to here. As you can see, it's happening. It's doing something. Make sure the volume's up. Yep, volume's up all the way on the iPhone. As you can see, if I tap on the table, no longer, you know, we've definitely bypassed the microphone in there. So what we can do is actually with this potentiometer, we can actually increase or decrease the load. And you guys will notice that some of these, it's going to get a little louder. And then if I turn this down, you can see the signal is dropped. So this will be good for calibrating this entire thing. Sorry, let me turn this down a little bit. This is going to be great for calibrating this because you are going to have to calibrate it. Now, I'm not really too concerned with, you know, the overall peak and RMS levels. I just want to be able to maybe specifically send a vocal into this and kind of see what the vocal visually is doing using the RTA. And then if we go back to the spectrograph, this is the other obviously app, and this is really great because what I can do is, you get kind of like a readout of the overall frequencies, which is the reason why I bought 2 of these. And once again, if we change the potentiometer, you'll notice the pink is a much louder signal. So you can see we're turning pink there at the bottom, so we're sending more signal into it. But if I turn the potentiometer, sorry, I'm getting a lot of emails and stuff right now. So you can see that we're increasing and decreasing the amount of resistance, which also changes the amount of signal that's entering into here. So, but once again, you're going to need this 2K potentiometer to make this whole thing work. So if I go ahead and pause it, you can see we're getting black now, which means no signal. In this app, I don't know if it's noise reducing inside of the app, but you can see we're not getting any of that noise that we were on the other app. So not really sure what's going on there. But that's okay, that's probably something you guys or even myself will figure out in the end, and can make a little follow-up video to this. So what's great is obviously because these are portable tablets, you can pretty much put them anywhere, set them up anywhere, put the direct boxes and the cables somewhere else so that you don't see it. And you might be asking, what's a good way and how am I going to get signal into the direct box? Now, like I had mentioned before, you could use a headphone output right from your interface. Maybe you could split the headphone output and then one channel would come to your direct box to be able to do a whole mix readout of what's going on through your mix. If you wanted to get specific and send just a specific signal, let's say just a main vocal to hear, you'd have to use an audio interface that has more than one output. So you'd have your main outputs and then maybe 2, 4, 8 other outputs. And you could very simply set it up like that. Maybe use output number 3 to run into the direct box and then out into the tablet. So whatever way you guys decide to do it, you could also use a mixer using the aux channels and send an aux channel to the input of the direct box and then out to the tablet. Okay guys, so there you go. You can see how really easy it is to make that RTA or spectrum analyzer for your audio. I mean, I think that's such a great and super inexpensive way of doing it. Now, I know there is like a slight amount of lag, a little latency essentially for the processing until it finally comes out of the screen. And I think that just has a lot to do with the tablet and the app. Nothing you can really do about that. But if you've ever looked at how much, these things cost to buy a unit, I mean, you're talking at least $500-600 just for some of the good analyzing software. And that doesn't even include any of the hardware. So I think the fact that you can do it this inexpensively really probably opens up a lot of options, for the bedroom producer, the people aren't doing this full time. So obviously it has its audio advantages by, being able to see and visualize the frequencies, which I do think kind of helps out in the audio mixing world. But I mean, it does kind of look cool too. So just for the simple fact of being able to visualize the frequencies on, maybe a vocal, a kick drum, a guitar, I think it would just really help out a lot of people in the end. So I will include links to all the products that I use, the Amazon Fire, the Direct Box. I'll even include a link to the single channel Direct Box if you only want to buy one. The cable, the 2K potentiometer. I'll include that all in the description of this video. Now, these are Amazon links. They are clickable. If you do want to help support me, the studio, and this YouTube channel, if you guys want to use those links, I'd really appreciate it. If you guys want to buy your own stuff, I totally understand. But obviously, it does help me out. So guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you guys want to see more content, please go ahead and subscribe. And also you guys can check out the over 150 other videos currently on the True Sound Studios YouTube channel. So guys, if you have any questions, comments, please leave them below. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in another video. So thank you for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, click that like button and consider subscribing for more content. So not only do I make YouTube videos, but I also produce tracks and I can mix and master your music. So once again, thank you for watching this video. I'm Weezna and True Sound Studios is in your ears.